Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Joan Hunter back to visit with you again for a new video. Today, we're going to be talking about physical activity and the lifestyle medicine recommendations within the domain of physical activity. And it's more than you may have heard of before. So let me pull up my slides. So again, when we're talking about lifestyle medicine, increasing your physical activity is one of our 6 pillars of health. So you may have heard of in my first video, I talked about reaching the basic goal of 150 minutes a week of moderate physical activity. That's just one part of the domains of physical activity that we recommend in lifestyle medicine, yet so many people are not meeting that cardiovascular domain that's usually where I start with folks. So when we talk about exercise types, I want to go over the 3 different types of physical activity or exercise. So physical activity, the definition of that is really any movement that your body does. Exercise is structured physical activity that you do with the goal of improving your health. And so we've already briefly mentioned aerobic exercise with that 150 minutes a week of moderate physical activity, and I'll speak more to that. The 2 areas of physical fitness and activity that you may not have heard of before are resistance training, or weight training is sometimes referred to. It's basically moving your body against force. And that could be your body weight. That could be light handheld weights. That could be going to the gym and lifting heavy. So resistance training looks different for everyone based on where you are. And we'll get into that in a bit. The last piece of physical fitness that we talk about in lifestyle medicine is balance and flexibility training. So incredibly important as we age to maintain our balance. Your muscle strength and doing that resistance training also plays into that. But really, these 3 key elements all build into what we think of as total body fitness and functional fitness. So here are the physical activity guidelines. This is a national guideline that's been around for many years. I think it was updated in 2018 most recently. So again, it's that 150 minutes a week of moderate physical activity. So when I say moderate physical activity, what should come to mind is a brisk walk or some sort of activity that you're moving enough to break a light sweat. One way that I counsel patients on thinking about how brisk is my activity or am I in that moderate pace is something that we call the talk and the sing test. So if you're doing an activity and you could both talk to a partner and also if it was their birthday, you could sing them happy birthday without getting out of breath, that is a lightly active activity. So you're walking at kind of a light pace or gardening or something like that. A moderate pace or activity is something that you could talk to your partner still, but if you tried to sing them happy birthday, you would be too out of breath to sing. So that's what we call the sing test. Now, for intense physical activity, if you could neither talk nor sing while running with a partner, then you know you're in that intense or vigorous physical activity mode. So that 150 minutes of moderate physical activity is the guideline. If you are someone who participates in vigorous physical activity, 75 minutes a week is that baseline threshold that we want people to get to. So this breaks down for that moderate physical activity. If you're thinking about 150 minutes, it's 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Now, I always tell people all movement is good movement. If you can get 10 minutes at a time of a moderate physical activity, so walking your dog at a brisk pace, or parking at the far end of the parking lot, making a couple laps at lunch before you go back in. That 10-minute threshold seems to be where we start to see physiologic benefits. So you see your blood pressure coming down. You can see your metabolism improving. You can see improvements in your mood. So don't feel like you have to go to the gym. You have to get on a treadmill and work out for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, 10 minutes at a time. Think about walking the dog in the morning before you go to work, taking a walk at your lunch break, and walking in the evening with your family. That could easily get you to 30 minutes a day. And we know that 150 minutes a week or our vigorous activity of 75 minutes a week, which equals about an hour and 15 minutes of vigorous activity, that's just the baseline. More is better. We see continued improvement. Now, there is such a thing as overtraining, so we want to avoid that. But really, everyone should be aiming for that 150 minutes of moderate physical activity. Again, brisk walking 5 times a week, 30 minutes a session, that's pretty achievable for everyone. So again, most people know about this, or at least most physicians know to counsel our patients on this type of physical activity, on cardiovascular activity. So this is important for the strength of your heart, for endurance, for stamina. But what we don't talk about as much for other people are the other two parts of the physical activity guidelines that I've learned about through my lifestyle medicine training and that I share with people pretty extensively. So, strength or resistance training. Some people think of this as weightlifting. It doesn't have to be going to the gym and lifting heavy, especially if you've never done strength training. Now, why is it important to do strength and resistance training? What we know from the data is that people start to lose their muscle mass at age 40. Seems incredibly young, doesn't it? But 1% of your muscle mass per year will be lost after age 40 if you are not actively building muscle. So if you're not engaging in strength and resistance training, you are losing muscle. Now, something I know is that muscle is our metabolic powerhouse. A pound of muscle burns 50 calories a day just existing. So if you're losing 1% of your muscle mass a year, and by the time you get to age 75, you're down 35% of your muscle mass if you haven't been actively building your muscle. And that also means your metabolism is significantly lower because you've lost that much muscle mass. So when we think about resistance training, or when I counsel people on resistance training, it's really about moving your body against force. So what does that look like? For me, it's lifting weights. And that's something I've been doing for the last 10 years. However, if you're just starting, it could just be moving your body against gravity, against your own body weight. Adding stretchy bands most of us have lying around from a physical therapy session years ago, or light handheld weights. During the pandemic when everything went online, using a can of food or a bottle of water, those weigh a pound or two. So you can use lifestyle items to do your resistance training. And it's not that much, 2 to 3 days a week. The lifestyle medicine recommendation is one set of 8 to 12 reps in each of your major muscle groups. Now, if you do more, if you do 2 to 3 sets, you're going to get better results. And the weights are optional, as I was talking about. If you are using weights, and especially if you're new to starting out, you want a weight that's light enough that you could do 10 reps easily. I don't want you doing 50 reps. If you can do that, you need to increase your weight. But if you're just getting started, think about those stretchy bands, which when you stretch them, they're creating resistance. Your muscles have to move against that force. But also think about body weight exercises. So I work with a personal trainer, and she always tries to build in her exercises these 6 moves. So a push, a pull, a squat, a lunge, a hinge movement, and then some core work. So you can see on what I've displayed here, if you're doing a variety, these are all body weight, these are all things you can do in your home, basically without props, a step or a chair or a counter if you have one. But these would move you through most of those major muscle group body movements. And you can do something like this in about 10 or 15 minutes, getting 2 to 3 reps for that. That's without weight. That's just using your body. So this is a great place to start. I really love referring people to other YouTube videos because there are so many great resources online if you're starting out with resistance training. Silver Sneakers, which is a national brand associated with Medicare and provides free gym memberships to a lot of Medicare and Medicare Advantage customers, has hundreds of videos on YouTube of ways to get started with exercise. So whether it's a walking video, just getting 10,000 steps in your own home, you don't even have to leave. You can march in place with an instructor and music in the background. They have a lot of resistance-based exercise videos, and you can do it sitting in a chair, and you can do it with just your body weight. So I don't want the idea of strength training or weightlifting to scare anyone off. We all need to be doing this so we can age well and healthily. For women, especially important to maintain our bone health. I work with people who at age 65 or 70 or 75, if they end up on the floor, they can't get off the floor themselves. I want people to be as healthy and strong as possible for their whole lives so that, you can get on the floor and play with your grandkids and get back up and have it not be a struggle. So let's talk about the last piece of these 3 components to physical fitness and physical activity. It's flexibility and balance. So this is doing things like stretching. So if you are doing cardiovascular activity or you are doing your resistance workout, making sure before you work out and after your workout that you're getting some stretching in, that you're releasing those muscles. So it's really important as a warm up and a cool down. We also want to talk about motor skill and balance training. So this is something that could be a yoga routine. This could be doing Pilates, which both yoga and Pilates do have some body weight elements to it. So you could get your resistance and your balance and flexibility training. There's pretty simple ways to do balance training. I mean, for some people, it's literally just practicing standing on one foot and alternating back and forth, holding for 20 seconds, walking up and down one step with one foot by itself. So you're kind of training your body to balance when you don't have both feet on the floor. That also trains your core. So I'm going to show you some opportunities for balance and flexibility training. So, yoga is great. I love, again, sharing some other YouTube resources. Yoga with Adriene is my favorite go-to yoga source. And she's got tons of great videos that are in varying lengths where you can get a quick little yoga flow in, not only to help you center and focus on your breathing, but also stretch your body and build strength. And then this other example is really ways to build balance and core strength at home, even if you have limited mobility, even if you don't have any real props. So using a chair to hold on to. Now you're going to get the bigger bang for your buck if you don't have to hold on. But again, if you're just starting out, there's no shame in holding on to something so you can get stronger. The whole goal is progress. All right, everyone. So excited to be with you here again. Really excited to open up this topic of physical activity and what it means and the different components, because again, most physicians are not trained to teach their patients about resistance training, about flexibility and balance training. We all know about cardiovascular exercise, but it's more than that. The cardiovascular exercise should be the baseline, and then we layer on. We should all be aiming to hit these different areas throughout the week for optimal health. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I can't wait to see you again next week on our next video. If you will like, subscribe, and comment, so happy to hear from you. To your good health. Dr. Hunter signing off.